Okay, Ricky. Hi, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our September 16th, 2025 Board of Education meeting. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Let's rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Just a housekeeping item. As part of our ongoing commitment to our inclusive community engagement, those joining virtually can now email questions and comments to swr.boemeeting@k12.newyork.us for inclusion during our second public comment period. Residents wishing to make comments or raise questions shall sign up with the district clerk and state their name, address, and the topic. Public discussion is prohibited on matters relating to staff and students at which their reputation, privacy, or rights to due process or their rights of others to due process could in some way be violated. All comments should be directed to the board president. The board president may choose to respond to those comments or refer them to the superintendent or other board members for reply or for consideration and later response. All comments should be respectful, non-defamatory, and should maintain a level of decorum appropriate for a meeting of a public body. Thank you. Tonight, I know it's September 16th, however, I'd like you to join me for a moment of silence in observance of Patriots Day, September 11th, that recently passed, for those who have perished on that day, and in remembrance of those going forward. Thank you. Thank you. First up will be our approval of our agenda. May I get a motion? Henry, second Katie. Any questions on tonight's agenda? All in favor? I have 5-0. Next up is our superintendent's report. Mr. Poole.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, everyone. For the first part of my superintendent's report, I'm going to turn it over to two of our 6 student ex officio members, Ms. Riley Keneally and Ms. Gianna Ruggiero. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Gianna Ruggiero, and I'm a senior. I'm super excited to be an ex officio member this year to contribute to improvements in our district and gain a better understanding of the decisions that are made. I'm a part of Natural Helpers and Best Buddies Clubs, a member of the National English Honor Society, and the parliamentarian of the National Honor Society. I'm also on the girls varsity volleyball team and play travel across soccer and volleyball. I've been working diligently on my college applications and have gotten great insight from some of my teachers. I'm hoping for my applications to be complete within the next month.
Hello, I'm Riley Keneally, and I'm a senior. I am honored and ecstatic to be one of this year's ex officio members to make a change and offer outside perspectives on our school, Shoreham-Wading River High School. As a student, I am involved in a multitude of activities that our school offers. I've been in countless drama productions, a member of the Act Now Suicide Prevention Club, been secretary of Triumph Music Honor Society for 2 years now, as well as member of both the National and National English Honor Societies. I also play in the girls varsity volleyball team. In college, I plan on getting my bachelor's in international business, and because most of the schools I'm applying to have very competitive and prestigious business programs, my applications have been rigorous, but hopefully rewarding. I have had much help from my teachers, as well as from our superintendent, Mr. Poole.
Very good.
Congratulations to the girls varsity field hockey team on their amazing comeback win against Harbor Fields on Friday.
Fall sports are underway, and we currently have about 200 high school athletes and 140 middle school athletes participating.
Our coaches, athletes, and community have been extremely flexible with the closure of the gym. We have moved all varsity and junior varsity volleyball games and practices to the Prodell Middle School. Cheerleading is now at Miller Ave with brand new cheerleading mats.
We are currently preparing for a homecoming and Patriots football game and pep rally. The game will be Friday the 26th at 6 p.m. Go Wildcats!
The first annual Adrian Gilmore soccer game will be held at the stadium turf next Saturday. There will be raffles, concession, and great matches. Come down for a great cause.
Upcoming events include Rosh Hashanah, during which schools will be closed on Tuesday, September 23rd, and Wednesday, September 24th.
The high school open house will take place on Thursday, September 25th at 6:45 p.m., giving families the opportunity to meet teachers and learn more about courses and programs.
Next week, the high school is extending its home base for the club fair, a great way to explore the great clubs that Shoreham-Wading River has to offer.
followed by Picture Day for grades 9 to 11 on September 25th and 26th.
And as our year begins, so do clubs and extracurriculars. Our school offers a plethora of music and drama-related activities, so get yourself out there. Vocal Express will be holding auditions during and after school Monday the 22nd, Thursday the 25th, and Friday the 26th. Our current drama production has already been casted, but you can still help out. Our tech club is always open to new members, offering a rewarding experience throughout every show.
Congratulations to all the following music students for being invited to participate in the 2025 NISMA All-State Performing Ensembles. Senior Natalie Cortina, flute. Senior Lila Grosso, alto 2. Junior Spencer Lee, cello. And Junior Catherine McQuaid, soprano 2.
Great.
Thank you, well done.
Yeah, great. Thank you very much for that report for the high school and athletics. I do want to add some late-breaking news for our high school athletics to one of our compassionate, competitive, caring, awesome coach, longtime coach who holds the highest standard of excellence in Shoreham-Wading River. That is Coach Debbie Lutchen, who today notched her 300th win as the girls' varsity tennis coach. So congratulations to Debbie. So I mentioned it to Debbie down at the tennis courts this afternoon, and she said, "Oh, by the way, that's on top of the 150 wins I had when I coached the boys team." So congratulations to Debbie, and we'll have to have her come back to recognize her. So moving on across the school district, over at the middle school, thank the PTO for the welcome back dance. I hear they had over 100 students that attended, enjoyed music, dancing, and snacks. We do have the best PTO and PTA organizations, I believe. In honor of Patriots Day, the students and staff wore red, white, and blue. Remarks of remembrance were offered, followed by a moment of silence. The traditional welcome back assemblies were held for each grade level. The jumpstart would promises to be an exciting, fulfilling school year at the middle school, and middle school sports were off to a great start with plenty of participation and excitement. Moving to Wading River, another great start as well. They had their traditional third grade special play date in August, and those students jumped right in with a lot of success at the start of the school year. Students also commemorated Patriot Day by wearing red, white, and blue, participating in a special pledge with a moment of silence. Wading River Open House was last week. Thank you for parents for attending and for our teachers for preparing for it. And fourth graders are heading towards Sailor's Haven next week for their hands-on learning experience about this important barrier island and the surrounding ecosystems. Over to Miller Avenue, also off to a great start. The Miller Avenue PTO helped to welcome our new students with a Chalk the Walk event the night before school started. The sidewalks looked amazing, very welcoming for our students. They're looking forward to visits from Safety Mike and his safety bus beginning on September 26th. And kindergarten students will be visiting the public library here on campus here on September 25th. Miller Avenue was announced as the winner of the North Shore Public Library Summer Elementary School Reading Contest, as those students had the most readers over the summer.
Oh.
Congratulations, Miller Avenue students. So a couple other notes. Students and staff are encouraged to wear gold on Friday, September 19th to show their support for children and families affected by childhood cancers. If parents saw the Parents Square post, there's been a couple of them. On tomorrow, Wednesday, September 17th, there'll be a Zoom workshop for families at 6:15 p.m. on easing student transitions. This is actually not for students, it's actually for parents as we start the school year. And it's offered by, we have a new partnership with Stony Brook Children's Hospital Care Center. So they'll be providing some community parent workshops across the year, some newsletters, and some other supports for our students as we go across the school year. And just a few more items. A few weeks ago, Mr. Meister's office sent out an invitation to community members to fill out the Wildcat Tracks form, which is teaching real applications through community knowledge specialists. That's really an invitation for community members to offer to either meet with a teacher to discuss how the course matches up with careers, have the professional come to a classroom and share their expertise with students to make a better connection between real-world applications, authentic learning, and the classroom. So we've already had 20 or 30 people sign up for that, to be volunteers to come to the classroom, talk to kids.
Love that.
Hey, I use the quadratic equation every day when I'm
Sure.
constructing a fountain. That's right, Mr. Longo, isn't that? All right. Tonight we have a brief safety and security update. I won't go through the hour-long annual presentation, but I'll give a
Sure.
brief update on some new measures this year. we have an update on our grass fields. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Poole. Welcome again, Riley and Gianna. That was great. First inaugural update went really well. Loved how you guys both shared with the update. That was really terrific. So good job. We as a board obviously look forward to having you join us this year and participating in our meetings. So I'm glad you're here. Next up will be our opportunity for board members. Anything that anyone wants to share? Okay. I'm just going to read an update that I did want to share. The board, we wanted to take a moment tonight to update our community on the status of our negotiations between our district and our teachers union. Efforts have been made to reach an agreement. However, we've come to a joint impasse. As the next step in the process, we'll now be working with a mutually agreed upon mediator to assist both parties to continue the discussion. The Board of Education values our teachers, and we remain committed to reaching an agreement that is fair, fiscally responsible, and supportive of our students. Thank you. All right. Next up, I have statements from residents on agenda items. Anything, Ms. Kirschus? Okay, thank you. Next up, I'll just jump right ahead to our reports and reviews. Go ahead with the safety and security update, Mr. Poole,
All right,
please.
thank you.
Yeah, our superintendent. Thank you. You know, while Jerry does that, I would be remiss. I know that this is our first meeting since really our opening. I did want to thank our administrators for a smooth, back to school experience. Thank you all for what you've done, to our teachers and our staff.
All right,
Okay.
good evening. Thank you for a few moments to give everybody an update on safety and school security. I did send out to the community and families just a few days before school started a fairly in-depth message about systems and protocols that we have in place for the school year to let everybody know in advance. Typically, this presentation is around this time of the school year, and we send that home with the Board of Education highlights as well. I'm going to focus today on just several of the new initiatives for this school year, and I'm not going to go over the training, our positions, our stances. I feel like we've done a great job in that over the last couple of years, but if anyone has any questions about that, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you.
I don't seem to have the, well, I'm not going to go off the slideshow. I am going to, it's missing the first couple of slides, so my apologies, but nothing to, I'll just leave it there for now. So we do have a couple of new features this school year. Do you have the hard copy? One is additional fencing projects. We were largely complete. There were a few spots where we added panic bars, or we closed off a few openings across the school district, so that at this point all of our campuses are fully enclosed, fenced. The little openings that were there, I think they were done in a tasteful way, but that is definitely a security enhancement. We have enhanced our camera coverage. We have either replaced or added 70 cameras across the school district to a new state-of-the-art system. As everybody is aware, the district has added this year armed guards. They are implemented. They are in place during the regular school day for all 4 buildings, and they are here after school for the middle school and the high school, which is just as active as it is most times during the school day. So that is off and running and going well. The district also invested in a weapons detection technology. It's called Zero Eyes. That is a system that will pick up on a drawn weapon on campus and within seconds notify staff, notify the armed guards, and notify law enforcement with a map along the way. So that is up and running. That is operational. Thank Mr. Rossini, Mr. Esposito, Mr. Arcuri, a number of district staff for getting that up and running off the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Additionally, we have completed phase 1 and phase 2. I'm not going to say exactly what that is, of the security film installation across the school district. That means that glass has been reinforced to prevent a forced entry in major and multiple locations across the school district. Those are the chief 4 major improvements for the school year. One last upgrade is in the area of communications. That is in the area of emergency notification. So inside of Parent Square, there are 20-plus sort of preset messages that any administrator in a school district can have access to if there's a fire, if there's a bomb threat, heaven forbid there's a lockout or there's a lockdown, an immediate message will go out that what the messages are and what they're for was sent out to families so they know what they are. That'll be the initial message. That'll go out very quickly. And once we gather some information, we will send a second message out quickly with additional details about how the emergency is unfolding and what our response is. So those are the 5 major upgrades in the school district. We do maintain everything else that I've shared over the last 8 years that has just been growing and building. So everything that is on the rest of the PowerPoint that I will post that we shared last fall with everyone, all of that remains in place. We had a great start to the school year with security, staff training, and staff development. That covered all of the topics, all of the emergency protocols, also covered mental health awareness, mental health systems, mental health resources, as well as the threat assessment process and what is involved with going through that as a school district. So safety and security is on every agenda at every meeting that we have in a school district. It remains a top priority. It will continue to be so. I do appreciate the community support in the last budget for these added security measures. And as always, if somebody sees something, they should say something. We are here to address it.
Absolutely.
All right.
Does the board have any questions for Mr. Poole? Any comments? No.
All right.
We appreciate, Jerry, your continued vigilance in and around safety and security. I think we all recognize, I know I want to thank a bunch of our board members who are on the Health and Safety Committee. I know this is top of mind, continuing to, I guess I'll call it, continue to look for other ways or different things that the district could and should be doing. So I do appreciate you always taking that to us, and obviously for the community and for the benefit of our students and our teachers and staff. So
I think we're meeting tomorrow.
We do have a
I
meeting.
was just going to say, I think it's this week, right? That's what I was kind of prompting.
I appreciate that. We have
Yeah.
a strong position for safety and security, and the great part about it is that I think we've maintained the culture and warm appearance of our schools and buildings despite all those measures that are in place. So it does remain an ongoing focus, and we can only always get better, right? And that's what we'll continue to do. So
That's right.
all right, thank you.
I did notice, just a quick note, at the concession stand, I think you guys installed an exterior mounted AED device on the front of the concession stand, so I think that's a great spot.
Yep.
That was,
Absolutely.
We actually located the box that was on the old concession stand to that location.
Location.
So it's there, ready to go.
Yes.
So it's a little bit closer.
better visible space.
All 42 AED devices across the school district have been serviced, checked, updated, all fully operational for the start of the school year. So it's good. All right.
Yep.
All right,
Thank you,
thank
Mr.
you.
Poole. Thank you for the update. Okay, next up on our agenda is the grounds update from Mr. Ernesto Rossini, our Director of Facilities, and Mr. John Longo, our landscape architect at BBS.
All right, good evening. Thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to once again update you guys on the status of our athletic fields. I will turn it over to Mr. Longo from BBS.
Thank you, Ernesto, and thank you to the board for having us in. For several years now, we've been, which the event is this one here? Is this the next? No. It says play. That's what it needs to be. So since October of '23, when the initial request was made for us to come and do a brief analysis of the condition of the grass fields, and this is specific to the grass fields. Initially, it was district-wide, where we looked at Miller Avenue and Wading River also. For tonight's focus, it will be on the middle school and the high school, because those are your competition fields for athletics, not so much for recreation and PE. So we had initially issued a report in January of 2004, which had some recommendations in it for things that can be done to assist in bringing the turf grass along, and best management practices and things like that to ensure that we had proper stands of grass. In the spring of last year, we went back out. We didn't issue a report, but we did an email exchange with district administration saying that, efforts that have been ongoing are working and keep at it as we went into the spring of '25. Here we now in fall of '25, we had a very stressful summer in terms of drought. So a lot of irrigation had to be utilized to keep the grass alive. When you irrigate the fields constantly, or, crabgrass and weeds do thrive on water, but without water, you don't have any grass. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. So we'll go through, and then I'll be very happy to take all your questions right at the end of this, okay? I don't even need these. So this is an overhead view of the high school. I wanted to point out the sizes of the fields, the locations of the fields. You may call them different things, but we've just, for cardinal reasons, northwest, southwest, south, and so be it. And you can see their relative sizes. Of note, on the high school campus is almost 13.5 acres of just athletic field grass. This doesn't include any other grass that's on campus that needs to be maintained, right? Because we're specifically looking at athletic locations. So your total grass on this campus is well in excess of that number. Each of those locations that we identified, the northeast, southeast, so to speak, they're all utilized in both seasons by multiple teams at the varsity and junior varsity level for both competition and practice. So they do get a significant amount of use. Even though we do have one turf field on campus, there still is quite a bit of activity on those other fields throughout the spring and fall seasons. Some of them are more intense than others. Football practice daily, lacrosse practice daily. Those are very, they stress out the grass, and if we're not moving those practice locations and we're continually, working in the same goal crease or the same from the 30-yard line to the goal line on the football drills, the grass doesn't have appreciable time to recover. So we make note of that too as we go through. The current conditions, again, as I said, given the drought over the summer and the watering that's been going on, I think they've been doing a great job of keeping up with the watering. The grass is healthy, the grass is green. I encourage anybody to walk the fields. You will comment that there may be grass weeds and crabgrass growing out there, but you do have playable, level, for the most part, athletic fields. Like I said, there's all adequate stands of grass, some areas in the creases, as I mentioned. Ernesto and I and Roy from grounds, we walked probably an hour. And it probably took me an hour to find a bare patch of grass. And it was at the middle school. It wasn't even on this campus, So I think, they're doing a good job in keeping up with it. I noted last year that the JV baseball field lip, where the infield clay meets the outfield grass, had gotten a little bit high, and that could impact ball bounce on the ground ball, especially if a second baseman or someone's coming, to field the ball. So we had noted that should be lowered. I know that there are plans to do that. I believe that's going to be accomplished in-house. Just to note, Kutnella Field is not a grass field, it's a synthetic turf field. It's excluded from this. However, we are in the process of sending plans and specifications to the state for the replacement of Kutnella Field's turf and the track in the spring of '26. So you'll be seeing that project under construction next summer. These are just some representative photographs of the different fields. You can see the northwest field, which was rested for a little bit, overseeded, aerated. The grass in there is coming in well. That's looking towards the left-hand side. The road would be on your right-hand side. The southwest field I'm calling is essentially the outfield of the varsity baseball field, where the soccer field overlay is in the outfield there. The northeast field is the outfield of the girls softball field and the field hockey field on the northeast on the bottom there. And the southeast is really a field that, has been probably the least utilized for competition, but it is utilized for games. So that one has a little bit more weeds in it than some of the others, but that one is coming along also. But again, all exhibit adequate grass cover. Some of it's just not grass that we want. Over at the middle school, again, you'll see that where each of the fields are and their representative acreage. On the top left is the northwest field, which has been undergoing renovation currently. That's ongoing. The southwest fields, which gets some of the outside youth group use as well. And again, that's one of the things that we'll talk about is improving your fields and maintaining your fields for your team use and your practices is paramount. But managing and watching what the outside users are doing is, is important, because they're not necessarily taking care of your fields the way that they maybe should, right? In terms of how their practices are run. If we're asking them to relocate, some of their field spaces to give other places time to recover, all that needs to kind of work harmoniously. Again, just the season utilization of those fields, the track and field. That field was renovated with us several years ago. That field's doing well. We'll go through that one in a second. Where the PE classes and the teams come in from the gymnasium, that end of the field gets a lot of use. It doesn't appear that activities are moving towards the south to kind of get off of that north end and give a little bit of time to rest. So that's one thing that we would like to possibly see done, is moving activity around on that field, especially, for the constant walking back and forth for gym class and or for the practices. The other fields, they all have good grass stands on them. Again, crabgrass was a little bit tough this year. We'll talk about that in a second. And then the one field, and I said, after walking an hour, the last place that we walked was the softball field over by the gymnasium at the middle school. And in the goal crease on the north end, there's some bare spots of grass and things like that. Again, that's one of the last fields to kind of come online with renovations in the district, and I believe it was the last field to get irrigation in the district as well. But all of your fields are irrigated now, which is a very good thing. You'll see here, to be fair, I show some good pictures of grass, and the bottom right-hand one is the one that I was talking about, where it's a little bit compacted and a little bit bare, and that'll continue it throughout the season, right? It's early in September. In another month's time, we're going to have continued, use if we're not, trying to move practices and things like that. You can also see on the track and field at the middle school, towards the top of the picture there, where the grass is a little bit stressed out, and that's just from continued, circulation to and fro coming through the gates on that side of the field. So why are we here, right? So we're here to talk about the health of your grass, and things that we can and cannot do. Things that we cannot do, right, is apply fertilizer between November and April in Suffolk County. That is stricter than the state standard, which allows you to go into December. So already we're working with within those parameters of starting, fertilization in April, and now the kids are already coming out because March, right? Practices start in March. So we're already kind of behind the 8 ball here. There is the state law that prohibits the use of pesticides on school grounds, whether it's a daycare or private school or a public school. Pesticides fall into 3 categories, which are herbicides, which control weeds, which are insecticides, which control insects that feed on grass, and fungicides, which would be funguses that grow in grass from wet periods of wetness and things like that. So we're handcuffed, right? Your grounds people, they have little in their toolbox here to use to keep healthy stands of grass on campus. I'll read the exception. It does exist. In my entire career, we did it one time. And that is the school board can authorize a one-time use of herbicides on campus for an intended purpose, whether it's to control crabgrass or pests or other things. We did do it, and we targeted weeds. And I will say that within 2 to 3 growing seasons, we were right back where we were, because it's a one-time application. It's not a continued program. So, that does exist. The other thing with that is when you control weeds and kill weeds, you don't have grass. So you'll have loss of vegetation while the new grass seed comes online. So there's kind of all right, does it make sense to get rid of the weed seeds and have no grass in those areas, or, so those are decisions that, are tough to make. And like I said, I've been doing this for 28 years, and it's only happened one time that I'm aware of, that I was involved with. Doesn't mean other districts haven't done it, but we've only done it one time. The annual field maintenance recommendations, these are the items that were reviewed previously with the district and the grounds. Aside from the regular mowing and watering, the early fall is the aeration and fertilizer program that you talk about. Top dressing which is usually where we have areas of compaction or, areas of standing water, overseeding, which needs to occur. But again, we have 20 acres. You have 20 acres of athletic fields that are continually used in the seasons. So when does grass grow? How do we get the grass seed to grow when we have continued use for two months, and then the cutoff dates for fertilizing in the late fall and then the early spring? So it's tough. We're not a golf course, right? Early spring, we talk about soil testing and, again, aeration of the soil to help get air in there, get the drainage going, apply the fertilizer, and do the overseeding again, and then late spring. Summer is a little bit less. We like to do slow-release nitrogen so that we have continued feeding throughout the growing season as it gets hotter. Again, we always, nitrogen is the one thing that living on this island we're trying to prevent use from, especially going into our groundwaters, right? So we want to monitor how much we use, and, because the more you put down, the greener the grass is going to grow, the more vigorous the grass is going to grow, but how does that impact groundwater? So that's why we recommend the organic fertilizers. All of your maintenance is done in-house. Okay, I just wanted to put a slide up quick. So for the four-season maintenance program that I had just talked about costs between $4,000 and $5,000 per acre of field for an outside company to come in and manage. But they can't do any more than you can do in-house, meaning they can't magically start applying herbicides, and they can't start putting down 20 pounds of nitrogen, right? They have to do the same things that you guys can do. But if it's 20 acres, you could be looking at $100,000. That's just for the middle school and high school. It doesn't include the athletic fields at Miller Avenue or Wading River, okay? And it does not include the cost of maintenance and or any of the irrigation repairs that are all done in-house with your own personnel. Some of the recommendations, continue to follow the maintenance practices. They do work. They take time, but they do work. The more healthy grass we can get to grow, the less space there is for weeds to grow into, and it'll eventually, over time, help to push it out. Thickening of the grass, right? I think we still need to revisit the JV baseball lip. I do have concerns about that, so that we can get that field playable for the spring season. Monitoring the grass mowing heights. I know that they do that. They adjust the mowing heights to align with temperature over the summer, in the fall, things of that nature. We don't want to mow grass in the morning when it's wet, because we leave clumps of grass on our fields, right? I can't tell you how many districts I have where they'll mow, at 6 o'clock in the morning, and you got hay out there. It just sits, and nobody bothers to rake it or move it or anything like that. That's not done here, right? They're very aware of not doing that. Middle school baseball renovation, I believe that's on track to finish so that it's usable for the spring of '26, which is coming up. This is what I was getting at earlier. Monitor the outside group's use of your facilities. These are your facilities, right? Whether or not you're renting them or being a nice neighbor or what have you, it's still your stuff, and your kids deserve to have the best playable field that they can, not being overrun by, 400 youth football kids on a Saturday. It happens. I'm guilty of it myself with my kids. Changing the culture, right? Educate the coaches and the gym teachers to move around on the grass. I think that's important, right? It's only going to benefit everybody if we don't continually compact and beat up the same spot continually for each recess period or gym class period. So I think that's something that can, that's an easy thing to do. How do you monitor it? Not sure. So in summary, since we began to monitor fields and we were asked to come in, we've been here for years. We've been here for a lot of years. But since we were asked to start looking after your athletic fields, I think the commitment and the implementation of the things that we've discussed with the grounds department and with district administration is yielding positive results. It may not be perceived, but I can tell you that it is, just by observation. And that's my report for tonight.
Okay, I think our board's got a lot of questions for you, Mr. Longo. Let me start with, can I ask what your background is around lawns, landscaping? What knowledge you have of that practice?
Sure. I have a degree in horticulture. I have a license in landscape architecture. I am not a soil scientist. I am not an agronomist.
Got it. Okay. So let me ask you a question. So you told us the things we can't do. What can we do? So I'll give an example. Our homes that we're all part of here, I put down lime to prevent weeds. Are we allowed to put down lime as an example?
Yes, lime is not a restricted thing.
Okay.
Lime does not necessarily control weeds. The lime is to adjust pH level in the soil.
And when was
What-
the last time our soil was checked?
I can't answer that.
Okay, that's a problem. So can I ask you this then? So going back to fertilization, I use natural fertilizers on my grass. Are we allowed to use those? Organic versions?
Of course, yes.
Okay, so why isn't that a recommendation?
It was one of the recommendations for the summer feeding program.
Mr. Rossini, do we have a list of items this fall that the district is doing at both the high school and the middle school? Because we do see the weeds. We see the front lawns being watered. We see weeds growing rampantly. So I think some of us, including myself, are getting frustrated with how things look. I know you mentioned they look great. We don't think they look so great. So I don't know if anyone else wants to add some information, but this fall, are we aerating our fields right now? Is that part of the plan? Do we know?
If we want to turn back to the slide that Mr. Longo presented.
Yeah, I'm just disappointed with how the fields look. And when you're saying like 5 pounds per 1,000 square feet of overseeding, that seems very light for the size of fields we have. I know what I do on my personal property, and it's a heck of a lot more than that pound-wise. I don't know how we expect to grow grass when you have 5 pounds per 1,000 square feet. I can go down to DeLay Assad Farm and get a 70-pound bag. I could show you what I could do to our fields if you gave me a few hours. I'm just telling you. Yeah, I'm very disappointed with how our fields look. So you're telling me you're a landscape architect and you're giving us advice?
Listen, I appreciate your comments. You
Yeah.
asked me what we can do.
Yeah,
We were asked to come here and give an update on your fields.
and what does
okay?
that do for us? It's an update, so now we know how our fields look. We all know that. I'm more interested in
Cornell
how-
has guidelines for things that you can do, okay?
Oh, you have the guidelines of what we can do.
Okay?
Love to hear it.
So they include reduced risk herbicides,
Yep.
the emergency application that I had talked about, and things that are like citric oil, clove oil, corn gluten meal. I don't know anybody who's done anything like this on the school property to control weeds. I'll be honest with you. But there are guidelines for things that can be done.
Mm-hmm.
It's not for me to, to say.
I had thought a couple years ago when we first had you here, and we were talking about overuse of the fields. We were rotating and closing fields. I thought that had started. I think we closed call it the northwest field.
Mhm.
That was closed for a season. Has that continued? And if that was the game plan a couple years ago, would that allow you time to then, aerate in the spring, overseed in the fall? It seemed like it was a good plan. I just don't know if it ever kind of followed through to like, you're going through this, I think slide 4,
Mm-hmm.
where you talk about field use, all the fields are active.
Sure.
So if we just started a couple years ago, we closed the northwest field, I would think there'd be one field here that would be closed.
Right.
So did we pause or did we stop that? Was it not successful?
I don't set that schedule, Michael.
Okay.
I-
I'm asking the question, not just you, to
Yeah, I understand.
the district as well. I think that's where some of, talking about aerating, I understand you can't aerate a field if you're using it every day for practice. So,
So we've been in consultation with Mr. Longo since 2023. We had a closure plan, one field at a time, and we followed that plan precisely. To this, as of now, the JV baseball field is the one that's scheduled to be closed. It's closed, and it's undergoing renovation and
JVs.
resting period.
So no one's using it now.
What do we do during that time?
So
So what's the
We
what-
follow we follow this plan.
And what does that
As far
include?
as
Can I
maintenance,
ask? Is it-
aeration, we will take care of that lip that Mr. Longo spoke about, where the infield and the outfield meet. And then
baseball
part
field,
of
I'm
it,
sorry, baseball field, softball field?
JV baseball field,
Okay.
to the rear of the tennis court.
Yeah.
And then part of that period is allowing it to just rest and not be used. That's a part of the maintenance plan.
So it's been aerated this fall. You're saying there's new seed down and that the lip is being repaired?
All of that will take place sometime this
Well,
fall.
okay,
or-
so it
or
hasn't been
piece-
done.
It hasn't been done. It's already
I-
September 16th.
I'm not sure if it's
I just
been,
heard it, there's a hard deadline on November 1st where you're not allowed to do things. That's what I just heard.
we're not
So
allowed
when
to
is it
apply, we're
planned?
not allowed to apply fertilizer after that day. We're
So
still
when
allowed to
do you know
restore the
people who
field.
grow grass in November here? I don't think there's too many. Why isn't that scheduled? That's what I don't understand. I'm looking for a field maintenance program that we all can see as a board and understand what we're doing with our fields. That's what I'm seeking.
How
Mr.
does someone,
Akira?
and also, how does someone in the district visualize that a field is closed? But I spend a lot of time around the fields, obviously, and I've seen the football team practice behind the stadium bleachers every now and then. You see kids going back there. Do we try and close the fields off so no one's using them, or do we just say they're closed internally? And like, how do we physically close the field to allow it to rest? And
Well, we could have closed it to at least community use. There's no sports going on in those areas at the time when we're closing them. They coincide with the off-season of that particular sport. And then we speak with community programs and facility use and do not allow outside organizations to use those fields during those times.
So I guess my point is, if we go back to 2024, when Mr. Longo probably first came in and we did the analysis, there was a schedule for this fall. Are we not
23.
following, sorry?
23.
23, excuse me. Are we following the plan for this fall then? Because I'm not hearing that things are happening. That's where I'm confused.
Tom, to answer the question, yes. We have closed a field every season since this started March of '23. We have a plan for each and every field that we closed down.
Mm-hmm.
The fields that are closed down have a larger maintenance program attached to them in order to remediate existing issues in that particular closed down field. Coupled alongside of that, the grounds team fertilizers, aerates on a seeds, overseeds every a spring, every a fall on all of our grass district wide. As far as someone saying, we want to see visualized change, if I cannot remove the weeds in order to create brown bare spots in order for me to begin to plant new seed, it is a very vicious cycle. The more that I water during a drought, which is a very dry summer, the weeds and crabgrass are going to outpace the growth of grass. You're seeing on all of our fields at the high school an outpaced growth of crabgrass, an outpaced growth of weeds over the actual grass because of the actual weather conditions here. I cannot, as a Scotch certified lawn pro, which I do have a certification in, without being able to apply a herbicide that I am able to apply on a residential property, I am completely handcuffed. As a school district person, I have to apply by the law. I would love to tell you what we should do if there is a field that people, the Board of Education, feel does not look appropriate for our district. We should do exactly what we did inside the back of the Wading River School, exactly what we did inside of the middle school grass field inside of the track. Completely remove the grass, remove the top 6 to 8 inches of soil, put down loam, put down fresh topsoil. Let me take that field out of service for a 2-season cycle in order to restore that field that has not had that done for the past 40 years. We have seen fantastic results here in the back of the Wading River School, inside of the middle school grass field, inside of the track. We have seen fantastic results when we've taken an entire field out, took the soil out, installed new, let that actually grow. I don't have a solution when I cannot kill the weeds, I cannot kill the crabgrass in order to give me chance to now have bare soil so that the grounds team that continue to apply seed, continue to apply organic fertilizer. I am on site in August, in April, when Roy and his team are actually applying it. So I know it's being done, but you're definitely seeing a consequence of a dry summer and a district that is handcuffed in order to use any type of herbicides in order to slow down the crabgrass growth.
Maybe there's an expectation that we just can't meet.
I can
And
tell you
this
today.
these conversations started when we were getting complaints from residents using the field. It was dirt, there was
Yep.
mud, there was conversations about additional turf. Give us a chance to rotate the fields usage. Maybe that just didn't, maybe that I thought that rotating the fields, creating this maintenance plan was gonna give us more attractive, better playing fields.
Mhm.
It sounds like maybe that's an expectation that we just can't meet.
I can tell you there is no expectation in order to prevent summer crabgrass on a public school property. I
So every
cannot do that
district
for you.
on Long Island has crabgrass. probably.
Yes. And then I have personally today walked all of the high school fields.
I thought crabgrass usually found ways where there was voids in grass, and usually in the fall, you aerate, overseed, less gaps, less crabgrass.
But I get
Yeah.
to kill the crabgrass. On residential properties, I get to kill it inside of July and August. And then now the second September 20th, September 30th comes, where that ground soil temperature is warmer than the air, which is the ideal time to seed. So then to the point where, what is the grounds team doing today? Why is it September 16th? I don't see any change, because we kicked off the fall athletic program first with the 4 groundsmen, while also maintaining the rest of the 135 acres. The second that is in play, they then now will turn to, quote, a construction project on the JV field, so that we will hit that perfectly timed condition where air temperature is cooler than soil temperature, so that when they put the seed down, within 7 days, you start to see it grow. So there is a methodical, planned-out cycle, having 4 groundspeople, having 4 schools, in order to do that JV field work. But I do not foresee any opportunity in order to give you a more, quote, turf-like field without giving me the option to take out the entire field. Because I have shown inside of the middle school, with the help of the BBS going out to bid, we had a fantastic contractor. They took it all out, put it all back in. The field looks great. And the same thing for the back of the Wading River School. So we can definitely get there.
Yeah, I thought that's where we were going when we were rotating the fields. Now you're saying 2 seasons, 2 years, no
We
no
have the
use?
same thing at the back of the Wading River School,
yeah,
the
that's
back
feasible,
of the
yeah.
middle school.
not
I
feasible.
have to have 2 seasons, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Longo.
Yep, you're correct.
In order to put the seed down, because we aren't putting down sod, we're putting down
If we seed,
It builds a
you lose
stronger
a year,
root system.
yes.
In order to athletic play on it, I need 2 seasons. That's just the way that the turf grass grows. Natural turf, natural grass,
Especially under conditions of athletic playing daily.
without a doubt.
Is that established?
So slide 4, where you have the schedule of all the field use. Obviously, this doesn't include turf, which we all know everyone wants to be on the turf. So you have field hockey practicing on the south field and the northeast fields. Is that daily? Football's practicing on the northwest field daily?
Michael, I can't,
Okay.
I can't confirm that because.
Yeah, I'm
no,
not
Margaret-
really talking.
No,
to you
I'm sorry,
because
Mike.
I'm more, whoever put this together, I'm asking them.
That was from Mark 2 years ago. Mark's no longer here.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's the schedule still, but that was the utilization at that time.
I meant practice. I always see the kids practicing on the turf. I'm just curious if this slide shows like we're using every blade of grass or whatever's out there every single day. So looking at this, we don't have the opportunity to shut down a field for 2 years, but maybe we do.
We do not have, using our current schedule without sharing a field, having each sport have their dedicated space,
Right.
the answer is no. I do not have the ability, when you pull into district and take out that northwest field that he's referring to, out of the entire district, that had the most weeds on it today. When I actually walked that field, that had the most weeds, that has the most crabgrass, there is one bare spot where, like, I would say there is the most brown dirt exposed out of all the high school campus. But I will tell you, every time I'm driving in and out of this campus, whether it's community programs, whether it's a youth league, whether it's the football team, they're always right in that same spot. Maybe if they moved 20 yards north, that would actually help me. But as far as the crabgrass goes, I still do not see a solution to meet the expectation. Provide me with a field with more blades of grass than a combination of blades of grass, blades of crabgrass, blades of bent grass, blades of clover, and blades of weeds. I just don't see a way to do it when I cannot kill those
The
types
Northwest
of
field
vegetation growth.
The Northwest field was the first field you took out of play.
Yes.
And we're back to where it is.
2 years later, it was great for a year, but I'm right back to where it is. But it is important to note, when we started it, there was a lot more dirt. There is a full irrigation program there. The grounds team is fertilizing, overseeding. So it's better than it was before we took it out of service, because there aren't any bare spots. There isn't any mud. We have no mud on our high school campus. No mud at all. How common is it to have mud?
Your practice fields are better than other teams' varsity fields. And I'll stand behind that.
And that's a very important point to know, that our bar, our expectation might not be achievable under the conditions given to us by the state or federal. I don't know if it's federal or state. Forgive me.
It's state.
Yeah, I guess maybe some of my expectations are not feasible. My point was simply, I wasn't clear what the maintenance was this fall. I didn't see that schedule. I'm still not clear on why we can't put down lime or look at natural fertilizers that will reduce the weeds. I'm sure there is something out there, Glenn.
I'm using
Excuse me,
natural
let me finish.
fertilizers.
Excuse me, let me finish.
Yep, sure.
And then also soil leveling. If you're telling me the field already, the front field has already lost its first layer, there's leveling. You could put leveling back on top of that when you seed. So you can't tell me you can't put topsoil down while you're.
I don't think I said leveling, Mr. Sheridan, at all. I said that
No, I'm
it's
saying
starting to
leveling.
thin out. And it is, I don't see there's divots inside of the field. But when they are top dressing, they are putting soil down with it. So they are top dressing on top of the seed inside of the areas. And I will be certain on a spring and fall basis, there will be an update provided for our field maintenance schedule going forward. It will be a documented process, because the head groundsman has that schedule. It just has not been shared, and I've been remiss there. But as far as fertilizing goes, we do fertilize three times a year. And I do not know when we actually applied lime last, but I will get that answer for you and send it home Friday.
I'm not the subject matter expert. I'm not a Scott certified person like yourself. I'm saying, are there other products that can be natural deterrents to weeds? If there are, why aren't we using them? That's all I'm saying is, if it's not working, try something different. That's all I'm saying. That's all.
Quickly, it says that you're gonna use 75% of fusty. That is a clumping grass, whereas bluegrass will run across and fill in gaps, and your weeds will grow in between those gaps. Is that correct?
The reason that tall fescue is used is because it stands up the best to the heavy traffic of football and lacrosse. Yes, the other grasses will behave differently, but the specific use of the grass is designed to withstand the heavy foot traffic, not so much to have a green lawn. To Glenn's point, some grass is better than no grass.
So I guess my final point was that simply that, whether it's a wrong expectation or not, I think the administration owes us that, whether it's feasible or not, to get these fields into what I'll call a better turf grade grass, so that
I got you.
when the community members approach us or provide comments to us about why do our fields look like this, we know why they look like this. And it can't be again because the state doesn't allow us. There are other ways to do this. I don't have to go to Cornell Cooperative Extension and have our soil tested and have it looked at. I'm sure we all could do that.
Mhm.
So there's other ways to look at this. Glenn, if you're,
I will
if you're,
definitely do it.
no, and
I will begin to explore
I'd appreciate that.
organic oils that, and obtain the success rate directly from multiple sources, and we will begin that process.
Thank
We
you.
will explore how to do that.
Look, I'm appreciative of our grounds people and the people who work hard to keep our fields and maintain, but we keep coming at this, and we keep getting the same answers. That's why I'm frustrated with it. And, yep. You know what, in a moment, when we get to that section, I'll let you do that. That would be great. But there's just so much around this, because we all take pride in our fields, in our lawns, in the way the property looks. And I just want to make sure that we're doing the best that we can to make sure that this place looks and works the same way.
Mhm.
That's all. I don't know if it has anyone else, but, so. So we're to expect an updated list of things that are being done this fall.
Yep.
It's not feasible to take fields out of play for 2 years. Does the board have any other comments on this subject?
In terms of the feasibility of taking certain fields out of play, maybe to be fair, we should ask Mrs. Ferry about her scheduling at her previous district, where there was one turf field, many more practices, many more teams, and the cycle of use was different from our own philosophy. So there might be room there with our smaller district and similar one turf, in other words, to be able to take parts of fields out of play. I'm just
Mhm.
throwing that out there.
No.
Yeah, maybe if slide 4 can get updated. 2 years old, but doesn't seem accurate.
And that's not a comment to our condition. I feel like I can't really speak to it in terms of our condition. Coming from an upstate school district, it was clover and crabgrass exclusively. And that's what the students were used to playing on. So I think ours look beautiful, but, I don't want to diminish the concerns or, undermine the ask.
Mhm. Nope, I don't think you're doing any of that. Okay, anything else from the board? Okay. Thank you, guys, appreciate it. Next up, we have votes and resolutions. First will be the approval of our August 2026, 2025
Can
regular
I
public.
interrupt you just real quick?
Yeah, sure.
And do they want to leave, or if we have other questions, can you guys stick around? This should go pretty
Oh,
quick.
good question.
Just if there are questions from the audience.
Oh, good idea, okay, thanks, Mike.
Thanks.
Good point. So, let me try that again. So approval of our August 26, 2025 regular public meeting minutes. May I get a motion, please? Katie, second Henry. Any discussion or questions? Okay to vote? All in favor? 5-0. Next up is Board of Education resolutions. In this section, there's only one, 2526-033. May I get a motion, please? Oh, one thing I want to add on this one. Ms. Kirschis, I'm going to do it as amended. In the body, it says the following committee members to be appointed to the SWR Space and Facilities Committee. It's got technology in there now. So it'll be as amended, where Space and Facilities. All good? Okay. Okay with that, may I get a motion? Mike, second. Henry, any discussion or questions? All in favor? 5-0. Thank you, Mr. Williams, for your service. Thanks for joining our Space and Facilities Committee. Next up is curriculum and instruction resolutions. I have 3 of these. It's section 2526034 to 2526036. May I take these as a block? Okay. I get a motion. Jim? Second, Mike. Any discussion or questions on these? All in favor? 5-0. There's 2 human resource resolutions, 2526037 and 2526038. May I get a motion, please? Katie, second, Jim. Discussion or questions? All in favor? 5-0. There's business and operations resolutions. We have two of these, 2526039 and 2526040. May I get a motion, please? Henry, second Jim. Any discussion or questions? All in favor? 5-0. Next up is personnel. Okay, let me get a motion, please, on personnel. Henry, second Jim. Any discussion or questions on personnel? All in favor? 5-0. Now we'll go to communications. Ms. Kirschis. Mr. Williams, would you like to speak?
I'd just like to ask a question or two to.
Go ahead, come up to the podium, please, for additional comments from residents,
Yeah,
please.
Mike Williams, 3
Yep.
Upper Crossway, Shoreham. I don't know if you gentlemen are aware of the varsity baseball field. It's probably 80% now the infield is bent grass. And, you know, this just started maybe 6 years ago. Bent grass in an infield does not work. So I would like to know what you would recommend. You know, it gobbles up baseballs like a vacuum.
We would still recommend the tri-blend athletic field mix that we recommend for all of the areas on campus.
How do you get rid of the bent grass that's there?
That would have to be removed or killed.
Well, our whole outfield basically is bent grass. So even if you resodded the entire infield, when they cut the outfield and come in to cut the infield, bent grass is gonna be back in 2 years.
It's hard to control.
Well, it's there now. It wasn't one. You can't play baseball with bent grass on your infield. I mean, I work at a golf course, and 80% of our fairways are bent grass, and 75% of our greens are bent grass. But our fairways are cut 4 times a week. Our greens are cut every day. We have 4 staff, you know, building guys that work their tail off. They're not gonna be able to cut more than once a week. You have games, you have practices, balls are dying in the infield. What do you suggest? I mean, there was a coach that came last year and told our coach, oh, we know your grass is so slow. They had 5 bunts in a row where the grass was just dying in the infield. You know, we can't play baseball with that problem. So what do you suggest?
Mr. Williams, I'll take it with administration, but if he's asked and answered, we'll take that away from you.
Infield turf.
What's that? Yeah,
I'm
no,
sorry?
probably. Infield turf, he made a joke. But, Mr. Williams, so it's really about the varsity baseball field is your comments?
Well, and the field that you were talking about, the Northwest Field.
Yep.
You know, I walked that plenty of times. It's 85% crabgrass.
Mhm.
And, you know, crabgrass dies in the winter, and no grass comes back. It's, it has to be done every year. I think maybe we all, after this discussion tonight, we all realize why Miller Place and Mount Sinai put in turf fields. We
Understand,
don't have to deal with this.
understand. Thank you, Mr. Williams.
You're welcome.
Mr. Curie, can I ask one other additional favor? So if
Yes.
we think about the bent grass at the varsity baseball field,
Yes.
what would it take this fall to remove it, bring in a landscaper, an outside landscaper to remove all the bent grass and put down real grass seed again to regrow it? Is that field used this fall? I don't think it is.
We could definitely do that, but the newly planted seed will not be able to be played on spring of '26. You will have to give me until fall of '26 or spring of '27 in order to make that a competitive field. You cannot grow grass seed in one season.
Okay, let me ask you this. If you remove the existing grass, excuse me, Mr. Williams, one moment. If we remove, that's where I was going. Thank you, Mr. Williams. I was gonna say, if you remove the existing bent grass, can you put down sod?
You can definitely put down sod, yes.
Can we look at that as a district? Can we get a quote
Yeah,
for that,
just-
please?
Sure.
If I heard correctly, there's a problem with cutting, mowing contamination.
Without a
Oh,
doubt.
is
We're
that
gonna
happening?
we're just chasing the tail.
Oh, okay. I didn't even
So-
catch that. So by cutting the other junky grass, it's getting onto the
I
good
bring the
grass.
seed right over
You
to
bring
the
you
good
bring the
grass.
bent grass seed
Yeah.
into the newly sodded area, and
Understand.
within that.
Okay.
And
So we're
if
causing our
a
own
golf
problem.
course can't manage it with anything other than an
Mowing.
increased mowing schedule, then we're not gonna manage it. But maybe we can look at our mowing schedule for a more aggressive mowing schedule for that, for the season.
So you obviously hear the sentiments, Mr. Arcuri. We would like a plan to see how we could address this.
Quick follow-up question. Glenn,
Please
can I-
state your name real quick for the,
Dan McGuire, sorry, Shoreham-Wading River resident.
thank you.
Glenn, I'm going to refer this to you if you don't mind. There's all this talk about this grass. I remember growing up on Long Island, most schools had weeds and crabgrass. My concern would be, do we have a cost factor of what this is going to cost the taxpayers of Shoreham-Wading River to get rid of the weeds? Do we have any idea at this point? Because
I have done no research to date
I'm gonna, yeah,
exploring other opportunities
thank you. I agree.
than what we currently have.
Mr.
Yeah,
McGuire.
I'm not saying, you
Excuse me
know-
excuse me 1 second. So sorry, you have to address me. I'll address Mr. Akiri. Thank you. Unless you want to send a separate email or Mr. Poole.
nope, that's
Thank you.
fine.
Appreciate that.
Thomas, do we have a cost estimate of what it would cost the taxpayers of the
We
Shoreham-Wading
could look
River
into it.
community?
I just asked Mr. Akiri for the same thing, administration to
Okay.
look at.
I'm
We have in
just-
our, excuse me, in our maintenance budget, we have annual costs already built in, the maintenance projects that you just saw, the maintenance field, use projects. So those are already built in, Mr. McGuire.
Thank you.
And I believe you're now a member of the Space and Facilities.
Yes, I am.
So you'll
That's
be
why I'm
privy,
asking.
you'll be privy to some of those as
Okay,
well.
thank
So,
you.
thank you for that. Thanks for your comments. Anyone else, any comments from residents? Okay. All right.
Tom, I think that's an important point that you just made. I don't want to just gloss over it. There is a set budget at this point, and that budget we look at every year and we readjust. So,
Correct.
we got to take that into account. And the long-term plan, if we need to increase that budget,
Yep.
then so be it, or whatever we need to do, we'll decide as a board. But I just don't want to give the impression that there's an issue and we're just going to throw money at it,
Yeah, no.
right? That's
No, well, we're
important.
also
That's
not
important for
directing-
people to recognize.
We're not directing anyone on administration to execute any sort of action either. This is an exploration ask, at this point.
Yeah, the thing is, Henry, we've heard about this for years, and we know that this grass situation has continued to rise. So what is the solution? I don't know what the interim solution right now for this, I guess spring will be baseball right now. What can we do in the interim with the maintenance fees that we have, the budgets we've got? Is there something that we can do? We know how hard people work around here, and they find solutions. This is one of those things that we all see in front of us. So how do we fix it?
Yeah, and
That's kinda one of those things.
And, for our grounds people, I think we all support the hard work that they
100%.
put into it. I don't want them to think that we're not grateful and appreciative of all the work that they put into this. That's an important aspect of
Yeah, no.
it too.
No,
I
not
just
at all.
wanted to, I know we have that feeling, so.
No, my point is, if something's not working, you need to look back at it and decide, what else could we do differently if it's not working? And if it's more expense, then that's something we all need to discuss from a budget standpoint. If it's just changing the practice, that's another standpoint. But we've continued to hear this, Henry, right? We've seen the resident comments. We know this exists. So whatever we're doing is not really working. And if
Yeah.
you're telling me it's not feasible at all, then so be it. We have weeds. But if there's ways to control the weeds or do other things that will make our fields more attractive, more playable, and everyone gets a better experience, baseball and whatnot, then why shouldn't we? So that's what I'm asking.
You
I'm
said
asking
it,
us-
you said it earlier.
Yep.
We need to have an expectation, and we need to set that expectation for everyone to understand why did we get to that point,
That's
right?
right.
So,
That's right.
I agree with you.
Thank you, Henry. Appreciate that. Okay. Any other comments from the board before I close? Okay. May I get a motion to adjourn to second exec for tonight for personal matters related to a particular person or corporation, the medical, financial, credit, or employment history of a particular person or corporation, or matters leading to the appointment, employment, promotion, demotion, discipline, suspension, dismissal, or removal of a particular person or corporation? May I get a motion? Henry, second Mike. All in favor? 5-0. Good night, everyone, and thank you.